Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have Tony Scaponi on Epic Gamble versus a Mog Fanatic on 8 cast. Now, Tony, for some reason, put Mog on Oops All Spells. He did play against Oops All Spells the previous round, but he had mulliganed to a very particular set of cards, which is LED plus Echo. And there's a Force of Will to shut that down. So Tony is essentially out of gas here. He's just got a Lotus Petal. That would have been totally fine versus, for example, Chancellor plus anything other than a first turn win from Oops All Spells. And now we see Urza Saga doing its thing, searching up artifacts out of the deck. This match actually did bring up an interesting point. So when you are playing Urza Saga in paper, after you draw and you move into your first main phase, that's when Urza Saga is going to get a counter. So it's as it enters the battlefield and after you draw. Those are not triggers. That's actually just something that happens as a state-based action. So if you're in your main phase, Urza Saga should have the appropriate number of counters on it. That'll keep everything clear. All of your sagas at the same time are going to get updated. Of course, you can respond to that with activations, constructs, etc., which is how this is going. Bunch of constructs. Another bauble. And it's going to be Kappa Cannoneer. Going to be over real fast. We'll see if Tony has either an answer to win on his side, or is it just going to be possibly, is this just lethal? Or is this Saga? Trigger. Make Kappa larger, and of course another artifact makes the construct larger as well. And C to the Synod. There we go. So that's actually lethal right there. A tough gamble to not pay off. Tony actually IDing into the top 8 of leaving a legacy open. Just saw the text message about that. Rats there, and everyone who top 8'd. I believe they got 100 plus people. Always great to see large legacy events. When he gets to play here, which can be very powerful, this deck can certainly win on the first turn, possibly with Defense Grid as a precursor to that, stopping all potential counter spells. And Tony just jamming a couple of artifacts. Certainly played against 8 cast a bit. Online, Kappa Cannoneer might not be as popular online as it is in paper. It's certainly more accessible in paper. Online, I believe the card's actually quite expensive. Thoughtcast reloading. Sake. Grim Monolith, Lotus Petal kind of getting upgraded into a Monolith. Potential explosive further turn. As it is now, though, Urza Saga can be making some constructs. No, it's going to be Hull Breacher. That does stop a lot of the more explosive lines from the Epic Gamble. Echo of Aeon's so crucial to many of the hands. Horn of Bergi, the more likely way of winning from here. Down 3 damage a turn. So Tony's got 7 turns with the current clock that can quickly be added to. Rite of Flame to Defense Grid. Defense Grid gets shut down by a force in passing the turn. Defense Grid would have made it difficult for Log to interact. He does have 3 mana available. The Thought Monitor. Defense Grid is the type of card that sometimes you'll let resolve, especially if you only have 1 counter. It's a real decision. If you can pay the 3, potentially allow Defense Grid to resolve and then counter the business spell. Of course, the real danger is getting caught up in a Echo of Aeon situation, similar to Wheel of Fortune. Actually, more similar to Time Twister. There's Horn of Bergi. That was the out, and it is shut down by another counter spell. And with 5 damage on board, this is looking very bad for Tony. No mana, Monolith tapped. Mox Opal no longer tapping for mana. 5 damage a turn, unable to draw extra cards. I don't wish this on anyone. Just drawing and passing. I mean, at least Andy Mox Opal doesn't tap for anything. There's some consolation there, I suppose. And there's the handshake. That's a tough one right there. 8 cast, a very dangerous deck. Certainly, if you mull down and get stopped by those counter spells, that is not going to line up well. Glad to hear Tony performing better at the Leaving a Legacy Open. Wishing him well in the top 8. I guess by the time this goes live, we'll see how he finishes.